welcome to I-24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from the world of sports. And there's plenty of action coming up. San Lorenzo secure their place in the Club World Cup Finals. FIFA investigator Michael Garcia resigns, and the end of the year looks grim for Arsenal's Arsene Wenger. All this and much more coming up, so let's get started. San Lorenzo gave Pope Francis a little extra something to celebrate on his birthday. The Libertadores Cup winners secured themselves a spot in the Club World Cup Finals on Saturday, beating New Zealand's Auckland City 2-1 in Marrakesh. Pablo Barrientos took the lead for San Lorenzo in stoppage time before the half, but Oakland would tie it up in the 67th minute. Mauro Meto secured the Argentine spot in the final minutes of the match. They will now face European powerhouse Real Madrid, which the coach admits will be a new challenge for the team.
We have 3 days to get ready, and we are about to play against a team that has a very different way of playing, both tactically and technically. A lot can happen during those 90 minutes. We know that our opponent is very strong, but I am sure that once the game ends, whatever the outcome is, I will still be proud of my team.
And troubles continue for Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga as they let another lead slip away. Dortmund wound up in the 8th minute with a cross by Ciro Immobile to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who scored from inside the box. But Kevin De Bruyne then responded by scoring from a free kick in the 29th minute. The yellow and black, though, showed their determination in the second half as Immobile had a remarkable finish from long range. Yep, great goal, and that one definitely deserves a high five from the manager as he got. But Dortmund threw away their second lead with minutes remaining as Wolfsburg's Naldo headed it into the net to save his side from defeat. And FIFA investigator Michael Garcia resigned on Wednesday over the handling of his report about possible corruption in the bidding process for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. Garcia said he lost his confidence in the independence of Judge Hans-Joachim Eckert, a fellow member of the Ethics Committee, after he made a statement about Garcia's report. Garcia said, quote, "It is the lack of leadership on these issues within FIFA that leads me to conclude that my role in this process is at an end." FIFA President Sepp Blatter said he was surprised by Garcia's decision. And he's an amazing coach. Avram Grant started his career in Israel, but before heading to Europe, but the coach is not finished as he'll be heading to the Ghanaian national team. Lisa Barenbaum with the story.
He replaced Jose Mourinho on Chelsea's bench in 2008, and after a few attempts in English clubs like Portsmouth and West Ham, Avram Grant then went to Partizan Belgrade. But after his departure from the Serbian club in 2012, the Israeli today is the new head of Ghana, which will be a challenging task in Africa.
He will be based here in Ghana, and whilst he's providing technical direction to all the national teams, he will also be organizing refresher courses for all the coaches of the national team as well.
His objective is clear: to strain the Black Stars after a disastrous 2014 World Cup. Although Grant has no obvious link with Ghana, he plans to commit to the country.
I don't want to go to a country to be a national coach with people that don't care about the national team. I wouldn't sign for it. I like the passion of these people.
Reached by the Ghanaian Federation, the manager who led the Blues to the Champions League final may have already had the African Cup of Nations in sight.
Some of the things that were stated in his contract was he has to assist in the technical direction of all the national teams, not only the Black Stars, but all the national teams.
The new coach wants all the Ghana players to feel welcome on the team despite the setbacks they may have had in the past. The return of 2 stars Suleiman Tari and Kevin Prince Boateng is not impossible despite being excluded from the World Cup for their bad behavior.
The door is open for everybody, but if you follow the criterions, the 3 criterions that appeared, one of them is the willing to give everything to the national team. It's meant to respect also. To respect is both way. I will respect the players need to respect the national team and the people of the country.
The only downside is that Grant holds an Israeli passport, which could prevent him from going to certain African countries that are hostile to Israel. But the coach is not shy.
Football is international language. I was all over the world, including the countries that people say that I cannot go there. but I don't want that anybody will judge me by anything, including my passport. I'm proud to be Israeli. Look, I'm proud to be Ghanaian. I'm proud to be here.
Ghana will play in the African Cup of Nations in January, where they drew a particularly challenging group with Senegal, Algeria, and South Africa.
Arsene Wenger has been Arsenal's coach for 18 years, but he may be on the hot seat as we near the end of 2014, and his Gunners are slipping away from title contention. And some fans are even calling for his resignation. Nies Barenbaum and Danny Swibel have more about his current situation.
6th place and 13 points behind the leader. This is a sad way to end the year for the manager of the Gunners, Arsene Wenger. More and more of Arsenal fans feel the Frenchman lost what he once brought to the club, but Wenger managed to survive 3 major crises over the past 6 years and is still in a strong position at his club.
The club has always shown faith in me, and I'm very grateful for that. You know, we have gone through fantastic periods where we had to stick together, and every time when that togetherness was tested, I got the right response, and I think I've shown some loyalty as well towards this club.
Yet Arsenal fans made a huge statement at the Emirates Stadium, where the crowd sometimes hang anti-Wenger signs. Their anger is justified after the worst start of the season by the Gunners in 32 years. According to a survey carried out on a fan site, 88% want Wenger to leave the club, while similar petitions surpassed 1,000 signatures.
It is a society like it is today. You want to win the next game, and it's permanent tribunal from everybody, and it is as it is, and you have to cope with that.
Between people who will love him forever and those disappointed, the split is felt. The hashtag Weingrout on Twitter went viral, and despite the FA Club victory last season, the fans are still not satisfied. But Wenger is a specialist in survival. Despite spending 80 million euros this season, he created many critics in the media, but he seems to have his head held high, and he hopes to do well at the end of his 11th season at Arsenal.
Well, I want to stay and to continue to develop the team and the club, and I think I can do that. And the club shares the same view, so I will, of course, put full commitment in to try to do it.
A solution could be the Champions League. Arsene is coaching his 15th consecutive campaign. The results are the big players who are attracted, and the club is making a lot from qualifying, a primary source of income for the club. Beyond the Wenger method is that of the economy, with a touch of policies and relatively pricey transfers. Arsenal has been very careful in comparisons to Chelsea or Manchester United. The discontent of the faithful has ultimately left little impact. Supporters of Arsenal have great respect for the club, but they hold only 1% of the capital and have no decision-making power. And Wenger assumes all choices he made.
Every decision I make is like I own the club. That's always in the interest of the club first. The second is that I think I'm in a job where you need to have a clear perception of your ideas and have the courage to transform it into actions.
After having extended his 3-year contract this summer, Wenger seems to be the only one to make the decision to end his own reign. Even critics of the shareholders are left indifferent. So is Wenger exceeded or untouchable? His next goal will be to beat Monaco in the Champions League.
And who knew Liam Neeson is a Knicks fan? Maybe he's as disappointed in them as I am, but the star still shows he supports them in his new commercial. And how did the world react to Thierry Henry's announcement? We continue to see problems in Qatar despite the fact they were given the 2022 World Cup. Here's this week's press review.
We begin this week's press review with the New York Post headlines, which read, "Brutal Qatar exchange, $8 a day to pretend to be a sports fan." It appears the madness in this non-sports nation continues. The Qatar Open of International Beach Volleyball was conducted in front of a crowd of paid-off migrant workers in the sports club of Doha. A very strange job, to pretend to be a sports enthusiast for the country's image. Those African and Asian workers even dressed up in white robes to look the part. But what can you buy with 30 Qatari riyals, which is equivalent to $8? It won't even get you a beer in the luxury waterside hotel in Doha. While they're applauding and supposedly increasing the home crowd, it's just another example of the lack of sports displayed in Qatar. And next, we move to the United States, where the Washington Post headlines read, Liam Neeson warns John Wall about the Knicks in the Taken 3 parody. With the Knicks hosting the Wizards on Christmas Day and the Taken 3 premiering next month, ESPN released a spoof video to promote the match. The actor is a huge Knicks fan and warns the basketball star on his upcoming visit to New York. Take a look.
Now listen to me.
What's up?
The team I support has a very particular set of skills. Skills they've acquired over a fearless career. They move fast. They shoot with unthinkable accuracy. They know how to defend themselves. And they train around the clock. What that means for you is this. Christmas Day, they're going to unleash their skills on you and your team. And they're going to defeat you.
Good luck.
Watch the NBA on Christmas Day on ESPN and see Taken 3 in theaters January 9th.
It appears John Wall will have to be careful when he steps into Madison Square Garden next week. You never know who will be sitting courtside. And lastly, we finish with an absolute legend. Sky Sports just added the football star to their team, and their headlines read, Thierry Henry retires, how the world of football has reacted. It is no surprise the way fans and players have responded to the news of one of the greatest footballers to step away from the game. Since its announcement, people have been sharing their thoughts via social media. Arsenal's Theo Walcott tweeted, a true inspiration to me in my career. Thank you, Thierry Henry, and good luck in your new path with Sky Sports. Another Arsenal player, Ozil, tweeted, once you enchanted all of us, now I can only say thanks for everything. His former club also posted a photo saying, one Thierry Henry, one unforgettable career. The Frenchman will be missed on the pitch, but at least he's not going too far from football.
And over in the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers look like they were getting their act together at the beginning of the month with an 8-game win streak. But just as things looked up, they've now lost 3 out of their last 4. Last night, hosting the Atlanta Hawks, Kyrie Irving taking it to the hoop early in the game. Cavs had a comfortable lead, but it wouldn't last long. The Hawks with the steal, Dennis Schroeder taking it himself. He'll hit the jumper. Schroeder had 10 points and 10 assists on the night. 5-point game in the last seconds of the first half. LeBron James breaking ankles finds Matthew Dellavedova, who hits the tray, and it will remain a close game to the third. Kevin Love, he'll get the rebound. He'll throw it all the way down court to LeBron James for the easy layup. 3-point game, but it was all Atlanta from there. The Hawks won 127-98, outscoring the Cavs 62-38 in the second half. And 100 years ago, during World War I, British and German soldiers put their differences and weapons aside and played a friendly match of football, showing sports can triumph over a war, even just for a short while. This week, the two countries once again honored this moment in history. Michael Friedman has more.
While the Christmas Day truce was 100 years ago, that special game of football will be remembered forever. British and German soldiers played a commemorative match last night in the English town of Aldershot. Ahead of the match, representatives of the countries were led onto the pitch by flag bearers hoisting the two national flags. And in the Christmas spirit, everyone paid tribute as the song Silent Night was sung. Former English football legend Sir Bobby Charlton also greeted the players prior to the match. As the fans watched on in support of their countrymen, the game showed great sportsmanship. The German defense minister was also proud of the commemorative match.
I'm really thankful for the spirit of humanity and for the people who took such risks to do this 100 years ago. It wasn't easy for them, nor was it a normal thing to do. The event wasn't mentioned much in military history books. I'm grateful to those who did this in the name of humanity. And I'm also thankful that we have such a close friendship today, that we have come together to mark this event. We have advanced light years in political and human terms over the past 100 years, and I thank everyone involved.
The British Army chief was especially pleased with the ability that football brings to people.
Well, I think it shows the enduring ability of sport, and soccer in particular, to bring together factions and tribes and different people who are competing against each other in a way that has camaraderie and comradeship right at the heart of the game.
The English Army scored the only goal in the game with a shot from inside the box, but the winner was not important. The two teams smiled next to one another after the match in another beautiful display of football.
And lastly, some rugby news. The New Zealand Rugby Union announced today that All Black great Dan Carter will leave New Zealand after next year's World Cup and will go play for French club Racing Metro. Carter is considered the world's most prolific international point scorer and said the 3-year deal and move to France would be, quote, an awesome adventure for me and my family. Carter played 102 tests for New Zealand and scored a world record 1,457 points and was named Player of the Year in 2005 and 2012. But that's all for us today. Don't forget you can watch this and every one of our shows on our website, i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, i24news in English. I'm Rob Severe. Thank you for watching and have a great day.